we've got the mask on Jordan's skin. This one, if I leave it on his skin on its own, it's going to dry and set hard, but I don't want it to set hard. It's rare that I will let a mask dry hard on the skin. I want to keep it, I want it to do its work, but I don't want it to dry hard, because not only is it difficult getting off, if you let a mask set on the skin and you've got to then go take it off, you sometimes irritate the skin getting it off. So it's important. We don't want to, most people, because they tend to be surface dry, we don't want the mask to dry hard on the face. So I'm really, I don't want that to set on the skin. And I'm going to show you something I do, which is fantastic for someone who has a sensitive skin that's a little surface dry. So first, before I show you my fantastic little thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put a couple of little pads, which again are soaking in hyaluronic acid. There are many different types of eye pads that are great, whether they be freezer-dried collagen. I'm just putting this one up here. I mentioned earlier that it's also these types of masks, these eye pads. You can also put them on the eyelids, which I'm going to do, just so I can show you how I work with these pads sometimes. And it's really important to not forget about the eyelids, because often they are not, they don't have sunblock put on them, they're not protected, they get dry, they get wrinkly, and dry and wrinkly it shows aging. So we want to keep the whole eye area nice and healthy and pretty. We don't just want to pay attention to the underneath. You definitely have to remember the top as well. So we're putting this on the top of the eye, surrounding it like that. And now I'm going to show you my little thing I do, which is fabulous for people that have surface dry skin. So what I like to work with, and when I'm doing extractions too, I like to work with the 4x4s. They're a very soft cotton, and I like it better than tissues, because sometimes when you go to extract with tissues, sometimes it's a little abrasive and a little hard on the skin, whereas if you get the 4x4s and they're so soft and you fold them, you've got a lot more of a sponge. This is what I use when I do extractions, is this type of 4x4 cotton gauze. And then when I'm doing my other type of mask, which I like to use the lavender sheets, and lavender sheets is lavender paraffin. But what it does is it acts as a catalyst for the mask that I've just put on the skin. So I've already got some 4x4s here, I've already torn in half. And I'm going to just lay them into the paraffin. It's very important, if you have paraffin, to not put your hand in, because it's so easy to contaminate. So I like to use a little tool. So what I like to do, I put my 4x4s that I've torn in half, and I'm going to put them on Jordan's skin, and we're going to just leave the purifying on. I like to leave it on for a little bit. Put his eye mask around his eye area, so we're really treating that eye area. I do not want the mask to set tight around the eyes. And I'm going to put a couple of little dry pads over his eyes, because we are going to put the paraffin on his face now. So we're just going to put a couple of dry cotton rounds around his eyes. And then I'm going to put my lavender sheets. And as I said, these lavender sheets just act as a catalyst to my treatment mask that I put on. And it's so wonderful. Paraffin is so wonderful. It's something that used to be used a long time ago, and in body treatments as well, but it's so wonderful. So I lay it over top of the mask. And I don't press down too hard in the beginning, because we want to make sure that it's not too hot on his skin. So as you can see, I'm sort of airing it a little bit here, and I stretch it a little bit so that we make it a little bit wider. And then we're going to lay this one on his chin area, which is going to go down here like this. And sometimes, if I'm not going to be using lavender sheets to go over it, but the skin is an oily skin, but a very sensitive oily skin, I do not want my mask to set tight. I'm going to do the same thing with the gauze, but I'm just going to put in water, and I'm going to lay just the gauze that's been that's wet on his face, as I am the lavender right now. But we're doing lavender because Jordan's skin is a little bit surface dry, and this just it is such a wonderful finish on the skin, and especially someone that is a little bit surface dry, and a lot of our clients are surface dry, so it's something that's really yummy. So we've stretched that paraffin out again, and we're putting this on. And now, a lot of the old days, what we used to do with paraffin is we used to have to paint it on the skin with a brush, and it was ever so messy. This way I like the effects. I get more on their skin, and it's cleaner, so it's a cleaner way of working with it. So now I like to press down on his face, because I know my lavender sheets are not too hot, but they're very comfortable, and it feels quite nice. And of course, someone who gets a little bit claustrophobic, this is not the type of treatment mask you would do. But generally, it's not heavy on the skin. It's very comfortable. It's very nice, and it really aids to not allowing the mask to dry underneath, but enough to just give his skin a little bit of hydration, and also act as a catalyst to the mask underneath. So it really helps that mask to do even a better job. We're going to take the lavender off. So assuming, as I said, I leave this on when I do a hand or foot treatment, which it could be on anything from 6 to 10 minutes, something like that. So we're going to take it off, and it just comes off in one sheet. So you just peel it off like this, and we're going to remove Jordan's little eye pads here that one has come off with the wax, and we're just going to remove these other little hydrating pads that were soaking in hyaluronic acid. But as I said, there are so many wonderful pads, the freezer-dried collagen, there's so many good ones. There's the gold ones and all these different fabulous iPads that we have to work with now that makes it really fun. So we're going to take the mask off. You said that felt really nice, Jordan.
It was, yeah, it was wonderful.
It's a nice little nice treatment. So again, I don't want these towels to be too hot for you, and we're just going to lay them on the face here. Now, I think something that we were asked about, another question, was about makeup that's a good extension from a facial treatment, or what's really healthy for your skin. And someone like yourself, or someone who is active and maybe a dancer, someone who's got lights on them and yet they're active and sweating. Makeup that tends to be better for the skin is a lot of the mineral makeup, the ones that don't clog the pores, but yet you can work out and sweat. They're non-comedogenic, and they're so healing. And I personally am a huge mineral makeup fan, and some of the brands that I like, which I was just about to verbalize, but of course I'm not going to do that now that I forgot what I was doing. So some of the mineral makeups that are so fabulous, but they're really wonderful because they don't clog the pores, and you can work out and you being active. And have you found some more successful than others yourself?
Yeah, and it took me about 8 years in my professional career to realize that mineral makeup was the way to go.
Yes.
Because also too, as time moves on, I first feel when mineral makeup came out was that it was lighter coverage, but now they're making them, and you get a lot of color with them.
Yes, and very high in sunscreen. I mean, some of the mineral retractable brushes are a 45 or 50.
Yeah.
Which is amazing if you're driving in the car, because you don't have to get goop on your hands to protect your neck and décolleté, which the sunshade doesn't cover. And
exactly.
they're so wonderful to carry in your bag.
But yeah, no, I'm a big fan of. Also, and everybody's active anymore. That's the thing.
Yes, that's right.
People, women, if you're in a city,
yes,
you're walking around, you're getting hot, you're sweating lightly.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm a fan of, like you said, extending the facial with makeup. It would be a mineral makeup, absolutely.
So we've taken off the mask, and we're just putting on a very light treatment product. It is quite late over here night, so I know, bedtime is next, and so this will be a really nice treatment, very light treatment product, nothing too much, but just something we've worked in some good products into his skin, Jordan's skin, so a nice light moisturizer to go on. The eyes are nicely hydrated from the pads. Jordan, how are you feeling?
I feel wonderful.
I feel wonderful.
Skin feels wonderful. My soul feels wonderful. Feels great.
So thank you so much for joining us today, and we hope that you've learnt a lot from our discussions.